to my live teaching learning session of MMPC 010 Managerial Economics. From first session to till now, we have discussed about in this managerial economics paper, like what is the meaning of managerial economics and what is the main scope and importance of managerial economics for business managers or enterprises, and what is the theory of demand and elasticity of demand. And next we have done production and cost theory. In today's session, we will discuss about block 4, unit 10 and 11, that is market structure and pricing decisions under perfect competition and pure monopoly. You know that there are different forms of market in an economy. One is perfect competition, second is monopoly market, third is monopolistic competition market, fourth is oligopoly market, fifth is duopoly market, sixth is monopoly market, and seventh is bilateral monopoly market. So there are different forms of market structure, and how in these different market structure price is determined, because price play very important role while producing goods and services. If we will not fix good price, then how a producer can get maximum profit? So price play very important role, because price should cover all the cost which is related to the product, and price should also based on the consumer's desire or willingness to spend, because if consumer is not able to buy that product, then how producer can sell its product? And when producer can't sell his product, then producer can't get maximum profit. So in this session, we will discuss about what type of market structure exists in an economy and how price decisions are taken in different forms of market. Now, in this market structure, you know that market is a place where buyers and sellers meet together and buy and sell goods and services. Market structure is the interconnected characteristics of a market, and we can classify different forms of market on the basis of different features. Like in each and every market, there are some different features which can differentiate between these different forms of market, like such as the number of buyers and sellers. In perfect competition market, there are very large number of buyers and sellers exist, but in monopoly market, only single seller exists, but buyers may be in large number. And in monopolistic competition market, there are large number of buyers and sellers exist. In oligopoly market, there are only few sellers exist. Buyers may be in large numbers. And the second main point is degree of freedom in determining the price. How much degree of freedom is available in different forms of market? Like in perfect competition market, there is no degree of freedom to determine the price, because price is not determined by the firm. Firm is a price taker, not maker. Price is decided by industry's demand curve and supply curve intersection. Where demand and supply curve intersect each other, equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity is determined on that point. So, in perfect competition market, price is determined by the industry's demand curve, which is always downward sloping curve, and supply curve, which is always upward sloping curve, where both curve intersect each other. Equilibrium price is determined, and that equilibrium price is taken over by these perfect competitive firms. No one producer can sell their goods to charge higher prices, and no one seller will be interested to decrease the price level. So they always accept that price which is determined by the intersection of demand and supply curve. Now next is the levels and forms of competition. In perfect competition market, there is a obviously competition exists because all sellers, there are a very large number of buyers and sellers, and they all sell homogeneous product. So in this market, price remains always equal or same. So in this market, price is uniform because these are price taker, not maker. But in monopoly market, there is no price competition because in monopoly, only single seller exists and monopoly firm can charge that price which is decided or determined by the monopoly seller. So there is no competition because no other firms can enter in the monopoly market. And no one firm can exit from the monopoly market because only single seller exists. If single seller exit from the market, then market will not be established. So next is extent of product differentiation. In some different forms of market, there may be product differentiated, and in some other markets, product may be homogeneous. For example, in perfect competition market, product remains always homogeneous or same. But in monopoly market, only single seller exists, so product may be homogeneous or may be differentiated. And in monopolistic competition market, product remains always differentiated. All sellers produces different uh, types of product in which the purpose of the product remains same, but they can differ the size, quality, packing, design, etc. to differentiate their product from the other firms. Next point is ease of entry and exit from the market. In perfect competition market, there is a fully freedom of entry and exit. Any firm can enter into the market at any time and any firm can exit from the market. There is no restrictions, there is no barriers, there is no hurdles exist in this market structure. Firms can easily enter and exit from the market. Obviously, firm will enter in the market when firm will get more profit. When firm will bear losses, they will exit from the market. And in monopoly market, there is a restriction on entry and exit because in monopoly market, only single seller exists. When only single seller exists, if that single seller exit from the market, then no one market can establish in the economy. And if other firms enter in monopoly market, then only single seller hold control over the supply will not be established. So there is fully restriction on entry and exit. No one firm can enter and exit from the market in monopoly market structure. And next is monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition market is that market in which large number of buyers and sellers exist and all sellers produces differentiated product. They can make difference in between of color, size, design, packing, etc. But there is non-price competition exist and there is a freedom of entry and exit. It means firm can enter and exit from the market under monopolistic competition. Next is oligopoly market. Oligopoly market is that market in which only few sellers exist. And when only few sellers exist, then few sellers can make differentiated product. Product may be homogeneous or may be differentiated. It depends upon the few sellers. And few sellers mutually decide how they can charge the maximum price for their product so that they can earn maximum profit. Because in oligopoly market, only few sellers exist. And each and every seller play very important role in determining the price and quantity of the product. And each seller can mutually decide, or they can make cartel to increase their profits. For example, OPEC countries. OPEC countries are those countries who supplies crude oil to other nations or rest of the world where the supply of petroleum is very less. So these OPEC countries can make cartel. Cartel means group of few sellers in which they mutually decide the price and quantity of the product. And in this way, they can get maximum profit. Next is duopoly market. Duopoly market is that market in which only two sellers exist. So, if only one seller exists in the market, that is monopoly, and if two sellers exist in the market, that is called duopoly market structure. So, market structure has different forms, and market structure is best defined as the organizational and other characteristics of a market. Now, next is meaning and definition. What is market? So, market is an arrangement that facilitate the buying and selling of the product, services, and factors of production or future commitment. Market is a place where buyers and sellers meet together to buy and sell their products, and it also facilitates the buying and selling of the product, goods or services, or any other factors of production like land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Because there are different forms of market, like one is commodity market or goods market, other is factor market where factors of production can sell or purchase or and next is capital market where capital resources can be bought and sold. So there are different forms of market exist in an economy. Next is structure means something, that organization and dimensions. And the market structure, it refers to the size and design of the market. It also includes the manner of operation of the market. It means how a market can operate, how a market structure can operate in an economy. So, market structure is that type of structure which is always exist in an organization, and it is something that organization and dimensions, it refers to the size of the size and design of the market, what type of market exists in the economy. Now, what is market structure? So, market structure is the organizational and other characteristics of a market. We tend to focus on those characteristics of a market which affects the degree of competition between firms and their pricing decisions. In perfect competition market, there is no such competition in price exist in this market because firm is price taker, not maker. And in monopoly market, only single seller exists. So monopoly always decide the price of the product, and no one other can interfere in their decisions which is related to the price and output. And in monopolistic competition market, in this market, non-price competition exists because products are differentiated, but the purpose of that product remains same. For example, like toothpaste, there are different companies who are making different types of toothpaste, but the purpose of toothpaste is same. So there is non-price competition existing monopolistic competition market. And in oligopoly market, in which few sellers exist and all these sellers, they can make either product may be differentiated or homogeneous. For example, oligopoly market examples are like OPEC countries, soft drinks industries, automobile industries, and cement industries. They are very large and big players in the market, and they fully control over whole market structure. So in this oligopoly market, there are only few sellers exist, and they can make cartel, a group of few sellers which mutually decide the price and quantity of the output. Now, traditionally, we emphasize the number and size distribution of buyers and sellers, and the existence of or absence of barriers to entry and exit in the market. So, this is called market structure. Now, there are different components of market structure. One is concentration of market power. Second is the degree of product differentiation. Next is conditions for entry and exit from the market. And next is flow of information. Like in perfect competition market, there is perfect knowledge related to the market product and market price. But in monopoly market, there is imperfect information exists, and in monopolistic competition market, imperfect information uh, remains present, and in oligopoly market, there is no such perfect information related to the product and price. Now, next is degree of integration. The degree of integration also remains different in different forms of market. So, these are the main components of market structure. Now, next is factors determining market structure. What are the determinant factors which affects market structure? Number one point is number of independent sellers. As I have explained with you that in some markets there are very large number of buyers and sellers like perfect competition market, but in monopoly market only one seller exists, and in oligopoly market there are few sellers exist, and in duopoly market there are only two sellers exist. Next is seller concentration. Seller concentration may be non-existent, low, medium, and high, which uh, which is related to the different forms of market. Like seller concentration in perfect competition market, no one individual seller can influence the market situation. So here is seller concentration is non-existent, and in a monopoly market there is a fully seller concentration. Whole supply of the product depends upon the desire of the seller. If seller is interested to sell more, then seller can produce more. If seller is not interested to sell more, then seller will produce less. And in monopolistic competition market, seller concentration remains medium. And in oligopoly market, seller concentration remains very higher. Now next is product differentiation. Product differentiation may be exist in some different forms of market, and it may not be exist. So product differentiation like homogeneous and perfect substitute, close substitutes, slightly differentiated, having no substitutes, these exist in different times, different forms of market. Like in perfect competition market, there is homogeneous product always produced by the producers, and in monopoly market, product may be homogeneous, may be differentiated, and in monopolistic competition market, product remains always differentiated, but close substitutes are available in the market. And in oligopoly market, product may be homogeneous or may be differentiated. So, in oligopoly market, product may be homogeneous, may be differentiated. In duopoly market, when two sellers exist, product may be homogeneous, may be differentiated, but we always assume that product is homogeneous in duopoly market. Now, next is condition of entry. There is a freedom of entry and exit in which type of market? Perfect competition market. And in monopoly market, there is very difficulty to enter and exit from the market. In monopolistic competition market, there is still fully freedom exists in this market, and in oligopoly market there is some restrictions or barriers exist in entry and exit. So it is impossible to enter or exit from the market. Now next is factors influencing competition in entry to market. How all these factors which affects the entry of the firms, because in some markets we have studied that in some markets there is a fully freedom of entry and exit, but in other market there is a restrictions on entry and exit. So what are the causes behind that? What reasons, what factors influence competition in entry to market? So these are different factors. Like one is intensity of competition varies with the number of rivals in particular industry. More number of rivals leads to more intense rivalry. And next is market growth rate. It means if market is growing at a very faster rate or at a very rapid rate, then there is possible untapped and new space opportunities. Next is differentiation in the product offering. High product differentiation leads to less rivalries. And next is high switching cost. High switching cost leads to less competition as the customer made lot of investment in specialized products in terms of cost and time. And next is existing the industry also play important part in competition intensity. So these are different factors which influence the competition in entry to the market. Now next is barriers to entry. What type of barriers exist in the market structure, and what type of barriers uh, a seller can or government can put to enter in the market structure. One is legal restrictions. Legal restrictions are like patent rights and invention incentives. Patent right exclusively the right for 20 years. If anyone invent or discover new things, then he can apply for patent right. And if he got that patent right, that will be, it means that right is exclusive right. No one other seller can copy or produce the same type of product in case of when you got this patent right. So patent right is exclusive right, which time period is for 20 years, and license and other entry restrictions also imposed by government or by law, like federal license system, state license. Because in some cases, if we want to establish our industry, then we must have to take a license from the central government or from the state government, because without taking license we can't enter in that type of market. So this is legal restrictions which is imposed by legally or by law. Now next is economies of scale. Economies of scales are the benefits or advantages of producing goods and services in a large scale. Because if a seller is producing large scale of production in a long run, then producer can get so many advantages, and these advantages are known as economies of scale. And it happens only in case of long run, not in short run. Because in long run we have too much time, we can easily change all the factors of production, and in long run all factors of productions are variable. So in long run all factors can change simultaneously. If we want to increase the output level, then we can use more inputs, and economies of scale we can get, and these cost advantages associated with large operations. Next is brand loyalty. Brand loyalty means customer satisfaction, customers' preferences for the product of organization currently existing in the task environment. If customer is mostly preferred or generally preferred to that product which has good brand loyalty, then there is a entry of other firms. They will not enter in that market because buyers only want to buy that product which have great brand loyalty, and in to buy that product they are getting more satisfaction than others. So also restrictions on entry. Now next is government regulations that impede entry. It means government regulations can also restrict entry in the market. Now, next is common barriers to entry. There are different forms of restrictions or different forms of barriers which can restrict the other firms to enter in the market. Number one is capital requirement. You have seen that in some business enterprises there are huge investment is required, and if someone has very less amount of investment plan, they cannot enter in that type of market. So in plant and machinery, if it requires huge or large investment, particularly if there are large economies of scale. And monopoly power, this can either be in the form of a patent or as a natural monopoly. And in government policies related to trade, tariffs, quotas, subsidies, and licensing, which can drastically increase production cost, and small business enterprises and those business enterprises who have very less capacity to invest, they will not enter in this type of market. So if government impose some restrictions like tariffs, quotas, subsidies, licensing, that also increases the production cost and restrict the entry of other firms. Next is product differentiation. Companies with strong brand loyalty are difficult to compete against without investing heavily in marketing. Next is other disadvantages. Other disadvantages related to the availability of personal, trade secrets, technological advantage, access to raw materials, and location can create high barriers or high restrictions to entry. And the last is cost for the consumer to switch economies of scale. Production cost decreases with larger production. As well as you produce more, the cost will goes falling. So production cost decreases as well as we produce in a larger quantity, because while producing large quantity of product we get some economies of scale, like internal economies of scale and external economies of scale, and due to receiving these economies of scale, production cost decreases, forcing new entrants to ramp up production immediately or suffer a large cost disadvantage. So these are common barriers to entry. Now, next is types of entry barriers. We can classify different uh, entry barriers in these groups. Number one is structural barriers, in which natural monopoly, vertical integration exist. And next is brand loyalty. If there is a brand loyalty and brand proliferation exists in the market, then other firms will not attract to enter in the market. And strategic barriers, in which some firms make that type of strategy so that they can reduce the price level in the market, and other firms can't accept that lower price and they can't sell at lower prices because they don't have capacity to invest in larger quantity in their business enterprises. So these firms who make that type of strategy, like predatory pricing or limit pricing or reducing pricing, then other firms will not compete that. So that is the main entry barrier. Heavy marketing spending, product differentiation, or heavy advertising cost, only big entrepreneurs can afford that type of market spending and publicity cost, and they can get large amount of profits. Next is strategic barriers to entry. Strategic barriers, entry barriers are those barriers which is created and maintained by the incumbents. Incumbents can erect strategic barriers by expanding capacity and or restoring to limit pricing and predatory pricing. Predatory pricing is very lower price because in oligopoly market, uh, few sellers always use price leadership model to determine the price of the product. And what is price leadership? In this oligopoly form of market, few sellers in which one firm is price leader firm and price leader firm who can make goods and services at a very lower cost of production that decide the price level, and other firms are followers and other firms follow that price which is decided by the leader firm. So in this type of market structure, that is called strategic barriers to entry, because leader firm is that firm who can produce goods and services at a very lower cost or at a very cheaper cost. So other firms, if they will not follow that price of the product, they can't compete with that price leader market firm. So incumbents can erect strategic barriers by expanding capacity and or restoring to limit pricing and predatory pricing. These are called strategic barriers to entry. And small business entrepreneurs can't manage lower price in their market structure. Now, examples of strategic barriers to entry are like limit pricing tactics, predatory pricing tactics, when a firm sets price low enough to discourage new entrants into the market. And next is brand loyalty or brand proliferation. We're setting an artificially low price for a product in order to drive out competitors. So this is known as strategic barriers to entry. Next is price analysis. Price analysis or price is very important part of the product because without determining the price level of the product, how producer can get maximum profit. So price analysis is the process of deciding if the asking price for a product or service is fair or reasonable without examining the specific cost and profit calculations the vendor used in arriving at the price. So price analysis, it's basically a process of comparing the price with known indicators of reasonableness. For example, other forms of price analysis information includes like analysis of previous prices paid. How price analysis can be done? To analyze the price level, first of all, we must have to study about the previous prices which is paid by the buyer, and compare. We should compare the vendor's price with the in-house estimate, and we should also take comparison of quotations or published price list from multiple vendors. And next, comparison with GSA price. And if we compare the price of previous year and the cost of production in different forms of market, and what price is what is the price of quotation and published price list from multiple vendors, then we can determine the actual price of the product. And that price should be reasonable so that consumer can afford that product and consumer can buy that product. If producers want to charge higher prices and consumer is not able to pay, then how producer can get maximum profit? So while deciding price of the product, each and every producer should keep in mind that price should be reasonable or fair, or because and price how price is determined without examining the cost and profit calculation, price can't be determined. Next is in perfect competition market, price is decided by the industry's demand curve and supply curve, where industry's demand curve, which is always generally slopes downward because demand and price both are inversely related with each other. At higher prices, demand is low, and at lower prices, demand is high. So in this case, supply curve is always upward sloping curve where price high when price is higher, supply will be higher. Price is lower, supply will be lower. So where both curve intersect each other, equilibrium price is determined, and that equilibrium price is taken over by individual seller or perfect competitive firms. So this horizontal line is a demand curve under perfect competition market. D is demand curve and AR is average revenue. Demand curve is known as average revenue curve. AR is always equals to price. AR shows per unit revenue or per unit amount of revenue which is received by the seller after selling its product. And MR is the net addition or net change in total revenue. In case of perfect competition market, AR and MR remains always equal and price remains always uniform or same. There is no such difference in price because these firms are price taker, not maker. And price is decided by the industry's demand curve and supply curve intersection. Now next is how short-run equilibrium is determined under perfect competition market. We assume that firms are seeking to maximize profit. And how firm can maximize its profit? You know that demand and supply curve where intersect each other, equilibrium price is determined. And this equilibrium price is taken over by perfect competitive firms so that average revenue remains equals to marginal revenue. And in short run, firms can earn abnormal profit, firm can earn normal profit, and sometimes firm can bear losses also. So if firm is earning abnormal profit, so what is the condition of getting abnormal profit? Abnormal profit is that profit where average revenue is more than average cost. So in this case, average revenue is above and average cost is below. So where MC cuts MR, equilibrium point is determined, and this equilibrium point quantity will also be determined. And if AR is greater than AC, then firm will earn maximum profit. So in short run, perfect competitive firm can maximize its profit to decide the price level, but firm is not the price maker. But if firm increases the revenue and decreases the cost, then firm can make maximum profit. Thank you.